रूभेश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे
Hare
हरे
Rama,
राम
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, text number 63. In the same way that the sun and moon are eclipsed by a low planet, the Brahmana lost all his good sense. Taking advantage of this situation, he always thought of the prostitute, and within a short time he took her as a servant in his house and abandoned all the regulative principles of a Brahmana. So we can understand the power of this material energy. Even such a great exalted position, Ajamila, he fell down from his position because of the association of the prostitute. So therefore the Shastras very much warn association with the opposite sex. One has to be very careful. Matra Shastra Duhitrava. Even with, it is said that Yayati says, no, this, even with one's mother, sister, and daughter, one has to be very careful dealings with. Na vivikta asana bhavet. Alone, one should not. Why? Because these senses are very strong. Balwan Indriya Grama. They are very, very strong because of the so many lifetimes impressions. So human life is a life of responsibility and higher values. In other species, there is no considerations as these relationships, mother, sister, daughter. They have the no such concern that the relationship can have. Animals don't have that considerations. Human form of life is exalted, where you can understand the finer aspects of life, how to deal with different personalities, and that's how you understand then slowly the higher spiritual things by making spiritual advancement. That how, in ultimate sense, in spiritual world, everything is free from this lust. It's pure love. At this stage, we, because of our contamination in mind, even we cannot understand Krishna and Gopis exalted positions. So therefore, one has to be very careful. This lust is an eternal enemy of the conditioned soul. This Brahmana Ajamila, although he was married, he had a wife. Still, by seeing a prostitute, he lost all his good sense. And he drove away his wife also from his house. Later on, drove away his parents from the house, and he started living with this prostitute. And he committed so many sinful activities in our association, robbing people, killing them also, probably, all these activities he was doing to get money to satisfy this prostitute. But nevertheless, at the end of his life, by chanting the 4 syllables of name Narayan, he was saved from the gravest danger of falling down. By all his activities, he was destined to go to the hell. Yamdutas had come to take him. But somehow or other, by his good fortune, by grace of Lord, he chanted this name, Narayan. See, this is to give us, to make us understand the power of the holy name and power of the shelter of the Lord. But at the same time, we need to understand that Ajamila somehow or other chanted at a time of death. Not everybody can do that. It's not so easy. People are, especially those who are very sinful. But somehow or other, if somebody chants, but then again, somebody may say, okay, fine, then I need not be very careful. I know how chanting is. No. One should understand the danger and always be alert. That one should not fall down at any situation. Because once one is taken away by the mind and illusion, very, very difficult. He chanted with helplessness his son's name, and somehow that he could chant, remember the Lord Narayan. So devotional service which begins with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, is so powerful that even if one falls down, it is said that even if one falls down, he can be saved from all contamination if he somehow or other chants the holy name of the Lord. This is the extraordinary power of the holy name of the Lord. So, this is the power. Even if somebody has fallen down, Narad Muni also says that, Tektva swadharmam charanambujam harer patan bhajan akpakho pate tato yedi. What is the use of simply being pious and good in this world morally? All these things will not save one. But if one is a devotee, then there is a safety. Because if one has practiced sincerely Krishna consciousness, one will be protected by the Lord. And the devotional service is such a thing that it will also give him the taste. Taste in devotional service, one gets higher taste. And again he will remember that higher taste, what he has received. Because this material world is actually not, it can never give the satisfaction to the heart of a soul. So even if sometimes person is deviated from the spiritual path, he will not be able to actually get that happiness what he is looking for. But because of his previous conditioning, one may get lost for some time. If somebody has sincerely practiced, again one will come back to devotional service. So even if one falls from exalted position of a Brahmana through sexual indulgence, he can be saved from all calamities if he somehow or other chants, somehow or other. Although it's very difficult. When one performs sinful activities, chanting becomes very difficult. But somehow or other, if one chants, this is the extraordinary power of the Lord's holy name. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, it is advised one not to forget chanting of the holy name, even for a moment. So, even for a moment, one should always try to chant. One should not forget, not chant, always chant. Kirtaniya Sadhari. So there are so many dangers in this material world that one may fall down from an exalted position at any time. Yet if one keeps himself always pure and steady by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then we are safe. So, regularly chanting every day, at least 16 rounds, Srila Prabhupada said, with attention. Srila Prabhupada also said that if you are not chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day uh, with attention, then one may fall victim at any time of Maya. One may become victim of Maya. So at least that much we should make sure that we are trying our best to chant 16 rounds. Not inattentively, but with endeavoring to chant attentively at least. That will protect us always. So till the time one becomes completely pure, reaches to the stage of prema, loving Krishna, then there is a danger at every step. Once one reaches to that stage, then there is no question of falling down further. Just like you said, the satellite, till the time it is in the gravitational pull, there is always chance it may fall down. Suppose some problem happens, the engine stops working or whatever it is, it will fall down. But if it goes out of gravitational force, then there is no question of falling down. Out of gravitational pull of the earth. This is a crude example, but similarly, one reaches to the prema stage, pure devotional service, loving Krishna, then there is no fall down. But till that time, one has to be very, very careful, alert. One should not think, now I am very advanced, I know what to do. Devotee means he is always should have healthy fear of Maya and always remain very, very steady into his sadhana. Even great exalted souls like Dhruv Maharaj or Haridas Thakur, they, although they were liberated, still they were very, very careful about practicing devotional service as a sadhaka. Like Haridas Thakur was saying that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that my disease is that my body is okay. All this body was actually having very sick, old age, just about to depart. So he said, my body is all right, but my disease is that I am not able to finish my rounds. Prabhupada says if one is not able to finish his rounds, then he is in a diseased condition. So he was chanting 190th round, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told that you are now liberated soul. You need not chant with that regulations. For a liberated soul, there is no regulations required. But for sadhaka, so even liberated souls like Haridas Thakur never think themselves as liberated. They are always careful. How much we should be careful in our lives. So here Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing somehow or other, if one chants the holy name of the Lord, if we don't live chanting. Again, but chanting is not just by our material determination. Chanting, to chant holy name of the Lord, one needs certainly some spiritual strength and grace of the Lord. And by performing sinful activities, one's strength to chant may reduce and one will be difficult. It will be difficult for one to chant. Because sin or the offenses, they make us lose a taste in spiritual practices. But somehow other one chants in the situation, one can again revive back his lost position as a devotee. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Any questions?
So now Kartik is coming from tomorrow. So what will actually help you to Kartik? Some devotees suggest to increase number of rounds, more rounds, recommend more austerity, some recommend more sadhana, some recommend more preaching during Kartik, some recommend more service, change of humanity. Taking responsibility also helps. What exactly helps a devotee? Now, as the last point you mentioned, it's not just mechanically increasing the numerical strength of chanting. That's the last point you said.
Attentively chanting.
But it's not just by mechanical force
Ah.
to chant. So then what actually helps a devotee? Because we have heard all versions. We have heard some devotees saying that till it is the number chant more. And there are many references. In the purport also, I had Krishna Chakra Thakur tells. The cure for offensive chanting is also Ahani Nishi, Avishta, and continue to keep chanting. Because the one is chanting also. Then we hear Bhakti Thakur, Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, Say Tapa, Say Japa. I am not advancing duty of my chanting or putting time. The secret of success in spiritual life is the pleasure of spiritual master. The pleasure spiritual master is actually.
Yes.
So what exactly is it then? Some devotees say what pleases Srila Prabhupada the most.
Actually, Prabhupada was asked what pleases you the most is when he said that develop your love for Krishna. So, in any activity, whatever we are doing, our purpose is to please Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. And we also should check that if we really do that, we also feel happiness in our heart. There is checkpoint that we also feel very satisfied in our heart. It's not that we work for our happiness, but certainly every living entity is naturally pleasure seeking. We want to be happy in our lives, but sometimes people are too much worried about their own happiness, and then it becomes fruitive to render service also. The real happiness will be awakened in our heart when we are selflessly trying to please Krishna or his representatives. That will make us actually happy in our lives. By our own material calculations, they are always fruitive. The pleasure seeking tendency is not wrong, but how one is trying to be happy. In material world also people are looking for pleasures. But their pleasure seeking is very selfish, self-centered. That is never going to make them happy. Similarly, in spiritual path also, if we become too self-centered sometimes, then we don't understand what spiritual thing is really in sense. So, our goal is to love Krishna ultimately and to serve Krishna in that relationship, and that's why serve Vaishnavas also, without any ulterior motivations. A part of that is to actually purify our consciousness as a sadhaka, sincerely chanting the holy name of the Lord, hearing Krishna's Leela. So we have to see how a particular activity is helping us to make that advancement. Some devotees may find it's increasing their preaching activities, giving them inspiration to become more humble and think of Krishna. And somebody may find that by chanting more number of rounds is giving them that strength during Kartik months. And somebody else may find to hear Krishna's Leela more. That's why we actually seek blessings of our superiors, sincerely, our spiritual master, Vaishnavas, Krishna. Whatever we do, yena kena prakarena mana Krishna niveshaya. Yena kena prakarena means somehow or other you have to fix your mind in Krishna. So these are different ways to fix our mind in Krishna, in true sense. Uh, so that will depend on different devotees, how they are feeling inspired and blessed by the Lord. Because ultimately, whether you do this, that, book distribution, or you do the book printing, or you do deity worship, or you do cooking, or you do preaching, these are different ways to engage our mind in Krishna's service. And engaging our mind in Krishna's service means to actually genuinely desire to please Him. That's why Prabhupada said that all these different varieties of activities are there, but I will be happy when you actually love Krishna. That means any activity I am doing, if my consciousness is that I am seeing it is happiness is given to Krishna by chanting more rounds. Some devotee was telling that when I read this first sentence, I was shocked. I was taken back. He said, Haridas Thakur chanted, and Haridas Thakur chanted for the pleasure of Krishna. For the pleasure of Krishna. So that is how the great exalted devotees do every activity. Whether they're chanting, whether they're preaching, or so that activities, how they are making us. And if we are very introspective, like there was a devotee, Yagyamurti, Ramanacharya's disciple. Earlier his name was Yagyamurti, later on he became Devraj Muni. He was a very great